Aloha kako. My name is Leilani Lozi, and I'm an outreach assistant at the International Gemini Observatory, a program of NSF's NORLab here in Hilo, Hawaii. In this video, I'll be discussing my process of translating the Waimea Solar System Walk videos into the Hawaiian language, which we will address by its correct name, Olelo Hawaii, from here on out. Before we delve into the nuances of language, let's review the concept of the Waimea Solar System Walk.
The Waimea Solar System Walk is an annual event. This year we've gone self-guided, where we've taken the solar system and shrunk it down to a mile, and then set up decals for each of the planets, objects in the solar system that are spaced as though the solar system was actually 1 mile long. On those decals are a QR code that links you to a video that explains more about the object. It's important for the Mauna Kea observatories and others to provide STEM events for families and kids because we miss seeing them. We are so used to visiting classrooms and holding events and activities and talks. We've not been able to do that for the past year. And so what we really want to do is create new ways to do the same events, honor those traditions that kids have of going to the Waimea Solar System Walk. Even though it might look a little bit differently, they still are getting outside, they're getting the same information, and they're having a really fun learning experience.
It's really important for us to include Olelo Hawaii in the videos that we're filming for the Solar System Walk. And that's because the discoveries that we're featuring on these videos in our walk were made right here on the Big Island on Mauna Kea by the Mauna Kea observatories. So the Olelo Hawaii videos really took a team to get it done. Translations and research were done by Alexis from the East Asian Observatory and Lenani from Gemini. And then between Lenani from Gemini, Matthew Brown from Keck, and myself, we were able to record the Olelo Hawaii videos, and it was a great project.
First off, I want to say a big mahalo to my kumu Isaac Kealoha Pauole, who helped to edit the scripts, Alexis Akuhito, who helped to research the names of solar system objects, and Shelley Pelfrey and Matthew Brown, who read my scripts beautifully for the Solar System Walk videos. Now, why is it such a big deal that we've created these videos in Olelo Hawaii? To understand the importance of this, we need to understand the context in which Olelo Hawaii exists today. This brief history in no way encompasses every important event or issue, but I do hope that it will be helpful to you. Because this talk is a recording, you can pause here and read the timeline for yourself. But the main point of this is that the provisional government of Hawaii banned Olelo Hawaii from schools in 1896, and this wrong was not corrected for almost 100 years. Many Native Hawaiians today, myself included, have generations separating us from our native tongue. The good news is that awareness for and speakers of Olelo Hawaii increase every year, and by creating resources like these videos, we're creating content for more students to practice their language skills in different contexts. After all, multidisciplinary learning has been shown to increase the retention of material. Additionally, when we can approach science from multiple ways of understanding, we achieve a greater depth of knowledge on the topic and a whole new perspective from which to see the world. And finally, we are honoring the place from which so many of the world's greatest astronomical discoveries are made, Mauna Kea. All right, so let's talk about the translation process, which was really more of a multilingual approach to communicating about the solar system. Translating implies that there is a one-to-one format in which these concepts can be relayed. And while that may be the case for things like how many moons are there around Mars, there are still connotations within Olelo Hawaii that don't exist in English and vice versa. As a novice student of Olelo Hawaii myself, I decided against translating the English videos and instead created scripts to convey these simple primary concepts. Now we're getting into the fun part. There are various types of sentences in Olelo Hawaii. Pepeke painu meka a'ano are sort of descriptive sentences. A'ano are traits, qualities, or states of being, i.e. happy, cold, pretty, etc. So in this type of sentence, we're saying that a person or thing, the subject, possesses a particular trait or state of being. Let's look at our examples. Velaloa kala. If we translate that word for word, we get hot very the sun, which of course in correct English grammar would mean the sun is very hot. But in a Hawaiian way of understanding, what we're really saying is that the sun possesses the quality of being hot. In our next example, ula ula o hoku ula, translated directly means red Mars, and with a bit more massaging, we get Mars is red. After these two examples, you might notice that there is no word for is in Olelo Hawaii. Here's another beginner's sentence structure, pupeke aike he, whose purpose is to say that one thing is equal to another thing. We may be inclined to think, well, can I say that the sun is equal to being hot? No, because being hot is a state of being. Instead, we can say, he hoku kala, the sun is a star. Another example is he hoku hele kinopa'a o ukali ali'i. Mercury is a terrestrial planet. Now, this second example takes us into our next topic of the beauty that exists within Olelo Hawaii. Olelo Hawaii is both incredibly direct and poetic. Many names encompass the actual characteristic of the object it's describing. For example, the word we just learned, hokuhele kinopa'a, means terrestrial planet, but kinopa'a also means solid, and hokuhele on its own just means planet. So the description of solid planet is the word for terrestrial planets. If we take apart the word hokuhele, hoku means star and hele means to go. Planets, of course, look similar to stars in the nighttime sky, but they move much quicker over a short period of time. These examples speak to the directness of the language. Sometimes there are meanings to words or phrases that are not so obvious. There can be multiple ways to say something, and often the more poetic way is chosen. Lehua is the name of this beautiful red flower, but it's also used for the word blood because the actual word, koko, is thought to be too vulgar. Putting all those pieces together, here is a sample of a final video for the Waimea Solar System Walk.
Welcome to Uranus. My name is Mary Beth from the Canada-France-Hawaii Telescope. Uranus is the 7th planet from the sun. It's so far away that 1 year on Uranus is almost 84 years on Earth. It's bigger than the Earth, about 4 times the radius. But if you weighed 100 pounds on Earth, you would only weigh 88.9 pounds on Uranus. It has 27 moons. The Gemini Observatory on Mauna Kea identified the chemical signature of hydrogen sulfide in the upper layer of clouds on Uranus. That means the clouds on Uranus are probably really stinky. Enjoy your rest of your trip through the solar system on to Neptune.
Eia o hele ekela, a ohe no Hawaii kahiko o hele ekela. He hoku hele kinoea o hele ekela. Iwa ka lua kumahiku mahina o hele ekela. Uike ene, he malepo pelena ao o hele ekela. Mahalo ya oi I ka ho'olohe ana mai, a huiho e hele ekela, e kipakako ya nepekune. I'd like to end this presentation with an olelo no'eau, which is a Hawaiian proverb or poetical saying. Ika olelo no ke'ola, ika olelo no kamake. Life is in speech, death is in speech. Hawaiians believe that our words have great power, and so continuing to create resources similar to these is very important to us here at the Mauna Kea Observatories, and we mahalo you for taking the time to learn more about Olelo Hawaii.